Thank you. As we are pressed by time, I think we're going to take one or two last questions and we wrap up this press briefing. So now is a question also submitted online on Mozambique, and this question comes from Mario Batista from Lusa News Agency. So he's asking, why is the prediction unchanged from last year, forecasting 2.2 growth? So we just want to know about the latest figure for the Mozambique. And then he asks, why doesn't the IMF support a debt pardon from the bond creditors? IMF supports only the official creditors, but why not private investors as well? I think you just want to know what's the latest discussions of IMF and Mozambique on this.
Okay, so in the case of Mozambique, prior to the outbreak of the pandemic, we were actually in discussions on a medium-term program that the government had requested to be able to support the country. But those discussions were likely to take a few months. So when the pandemic hit, what we have done is to switch to our rapid dispersing facility, rapid credit facility, and we're holding discussions under that. And we'll be publishing the outcome of our discussion projections in the next couple of weeks once we've processed that request. Of course, before proceeding with lending to Mozambique, we have to ascertain that debt is sustainable, and that is, of course, a factor that we will take into account in our discussions with the government in the coming days.
And the last question will be on Ghana, so also a general question, just a comments on how this pandemic will affect the Ghanaian economy.
Again, Ghana's economy was growing robustly before the pandemic. Macroeconomic health of the economy had been restored, inflation trending downwards. A lot of the issues in the banking sector had been addressed, and fiscal accounts were, by and large, under control. So this pandemic really comes at a very difficult time for the economy as it was trying to move forward after the last 5-6 years of macroeconomic pressures. So it will have a bearing on growth. It will impact the fiscal accounts also. But Ghana has been through a lot, and really, as elsewhere in the region, it will also put this behind it. And I'm hopeful. It's a resilient economy, a resilient country, and I think we're providing some support to allow the government to have a supportive fiscal stance, and I'm sure that in the coming years the economy will recover from this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking all these questions and representing the main outcome, the main results of the regional economic outlook for sub-Saharan Africa. We have still some press briefings lined up for you, so thank you for watching and thank you for submitting the questions online. Thank you one more time and stay safe.
Stay safe.
A briefing there by the IMF, a regional outlook for sub-Saharan Africa, just concluding. Abe Selassie, who's the director of the African department at the IMF, answering questions from media around the world. What came out from there, which is significant for South Africa, is that he says there've been no discussions with South Africa, and spoke about the resilience that South Africa does have. He also spoke about debt levels across the region rising, and saying that any debt relief will be considered on a country-by-country basis as we face exceptional times. Of course, we'll continue bringing you updates from across the world on coronavirus and the possible relief that's being offered.